Hello everybody, welcome to the Earthworks Scenics plant tutorial. I want to first of all show you a few bases that I've done just to give you a gist of how they will come out. I'm going to start off with this one over here. This one is a good combination of plants. None of them have been painted and you can see how they turn out. You've got Lady Fern here. You've got Hart's tongue over here. You have Polypody here. And you also have a few other bits here and there. Okay? Very nice. Next one I'll show you is this little one. This one is an XPS wall that I put together, followed up with a bunch of foliage on top. And you can really see how that foliage brings out the brickwork on this job. Okay. Okay, so next one is another one I've done which has been painted in terms of the plants here. These are the wood fern plants. These come in different sizes in the same pack. Really nice plants actually. Yep. Here's a really old one that I've put together. It's a little bit dusty now, the colours have become a bit muted, but you can still see that with the variety it does a really nice job. And if you put your trees in there, then it just increases it by double as nice. You see here we got a few random small ones. I don't know, I can't remember what these are called, but they will be included in a pack somewhere, along with these Hart's tongue down here and some big Hart's tongue here. Okay. Here's a little mini one. Good combination of lots of them. I imagine a lot of people would want to go for that type of size for their minis, but it just shows you how densely you can put them all, and in other cases slightly more sparse, maybe a little bit like this one. Still enough in there to give it a good variety, but yeah. Okay. Here is majority Polypody. I think Polypody or Hard Fern. Polypody and Hard Fern. I might end up putting them together because the main difference is the size. So watch out for that. Until then, you'll be able to get them both separately or the mega pack. Yeah. And this one. These are nice how they come down off the walls in there. I've only put a few in, but you can really go to town on wherever you want with these plants. You can just fill up rock faces with plants, really pop out that vegetation and the rockery. And yeah. Okay guys, I'm going to jump on to showing you about painting. A lot of them I don't paint, but I know some of you will want to. Okay. Okay, so a quick point about the colours. All the assemblies I'm going to show you now have not been additionally coloured. Okay. If you want to colour them, this is your prerogative. I have coloured them in the past. For example, this is not being coloured. This is straight out the packet. That's like a default colour that you'll be getting. Okay. When it comes down to colouring these, there is a process or a few things I'd say you shouldn't do. I'm not the best painter. Some of you out there are much better painters than me. But I just want to give you a heads up before you go grabbing a product that you've taken out, a sheet of plants that you've taken out, and then just spraying it with some sort of watered down acrylic paint. Don't do that, guys. They will curve up and it'll be a mess, and when it dries and it gets stuck, you could shag all of your plants. So heads up, I'll just go into that now. Okay, so here is a reject I'm obviously not going to pack because it's missing a frond here. But I'll show you what happens when you spray it straight onto the sheet with like a watered down acrylic, or maybe like a, you know, like a Vallejo Model Air color. Okay, you've got your air gun, you've put a bit of color in there. Let me just show you. As you can see, it's starting to curl already. I don't even need to finish it off. And you haven't even done the other side, so come on guys. There's your example. Okay, let's move on. Okay, on the other hand, if you use like a white, you want to use a white first maybe to give it like a base kind of, to be able to redo the color. You might want to do it in like a Citadel or this Army painter, enamel paint, is it? An enamel? I'll show you. Okay, you see, that is much quicker and it isn't flaring up just yet. Okay, so as you can see with the enamel-based white spray paint, it does curl a little bit, but nowhere near as much as the acrylic watered down. I'm going to flip this over and do the other side outside. Okay, little tip from the pro. If you want to avoid all that curling, just do one at a time. Okay, just a little point. I was going for the hardest one to paint, or the one most prone to curl. So when you do other ones, such as the Hart's tongue here, or other smaller ones, this will be a much less pronounced issue, okay? Right. Okay guys, so I just want to talk about color scheming a little bit. So, like I've shown you before, this one was relatively, I didn't think about it much, and there's not much of a color scheme that I've gone for, but I know some of you out there go for color schemes, and that's why I've taken you through the previous steps. You don't need to color them. This is how they come out, like I've said, but I'm not a very good painter. But if you do want to think about your color scheme, best to do it now before you go any further, okay? These, for example, were sprayed white, and then I went over with, I don't know, like a pale olive green, and this is how they came out, and I was happy with that. Like I said, many of you are much better at color scheming than me. Just be careful with the paint. You might find your own way forward with it. Yeah, okay. Okay, so I'm gonna mix this olive green just in here with a little bit of this amarillo or yellow olive, just to bring down that green a bit darker, and give that a mix. Okay, so I'm going to take my plant and pop it in here and just paint over the top of it like this, and do the other side. That's one way of doing it. Okay. Alternatively, you can just use a sponge. Any sponge will do. Just dab it in and then make your way around. Yep. I've just gone for 2 layers on this one. And then I popped it on the grassy kind of base to dry, but I mean, you can put it somewhere else, it's up to you. Okay, like I said, you can paint it straight out the package, and this is without spraying it white. So here we go. Just gonna give it a nice coating. Some ways it's better to have that green original base without spraying it white, but yeah, you guys will find your own way with this. You may even find a better process of painting it than me. That's actually quite good. Okay, here I'm showing you this guy that I know, absolute legend, Ross Tovey, Instagram painter Tovey. This is how he's done his colour schemes with the earthwork plants, and he's really done a good job. Yeah, just to show you guys, here you go. Okay, so I highly recommend to get good tweezers. If you don't have them, get them. Get them now, before you even get this pack of any of these plants. You cannot imagine how much of a difference it'll make if you use a good pair of tweezers. I think these were maybe like 12 quid each or something like that. They'll stay with you forever. They're solid pieces of kit, and you'll use them for many other things. Don't use ones like these. You know, they move a lot and they don't have a pointy edge, which you need that pointy edge to get kind of underneath the plants. Cocktail sticks and some glue, BVA. Okay, I'm going to show you how to put these plants together, and I'm going to start off with the most difficult one. This is Lady Fern. It's actually a reject that I decided not to put in a pack because there was a few inconsistencies, but it'll work the same. Okay, so first thing you want to do is take them out. So I've actually got a surgical blade here. You can get these for like a pack of 20 for maybe like 10 quid. They're quite good, they're nimble to get in places. Now the Lady Fern is probably by far the most complex one or difficult one to work with, and to take them out they can sometimes give you a bit of an issue, but in theory you should be able just to pull them out gently like that. So you want to do these, or you want to put them together when they are formed in order of the rings or the base circlets sizes. So you've got a big, medium and a smaller one there. I'm going to grip it down the middle and kind of gently just kind of bend those pinas down, and you can do that kind of pull down. Okay, so the next stage is to basically bend the actual frond into a position. And I kind of do it like this. Doesn't take much. And we'll go around and just do all of them. Okay, let's do the next one. Okay, so you've got to this stage. You've basically done all the bending necessary. Actually, you don't have to do all of the bending that I'm doing. This is just an additional detail which I think helps really bring these plants out. I'll show you, for example, on the plants that I've not done that bending to. This one here. See this one here? It is bent over, but the individual, the penas, these segments here, they're not bent over. So if you're happy with kind of, and it's, you know, it's a bit quicker to do it this way. If you're happy with this, then go ahead, just bend them over, and that will be how they kind of look. On the other hand, a good example of one that has been bent, similar to what we've just done, is say like this one here. You see, they just kind of, I just feel like it looks a little bit better than that other one we just did. Okay, so the next stage is to put them together. I've got some PVA here, a cocktail stick, and we're going to put them together. So there is a issue with the lady ferns, and maybe the western ferns as well, is like that kind of Velcro effect, where because they're serrated, each fern is kind of a serrated kind of individual bit, they can get caught up. So it's really important to follow this step. So you want to allow the second layer to go in to the first one as well as it can do. So what I do is, if I put it in like this, you could imagine it gets caught quite easily on like the edges. So what I like to do is really kind of pull those fronds up like this. Really gently, I kind of put it gently in between two fingers and give it a little bit of a roll around the edge. Very gently, and then you can see how high it's standing there. That's what you want. Okay. Tiny touch PVA in the middle. And you want to kind of stagger it. So, say for example, these two are either side of maybe one down there. And just pop that in. Okay, so now that I've done that, I mean, you can't, you know, you probably should wait for it to dry, but I mean, for the sake of this, I'm just going to go for it. So the next stage is, like with the bottom one, how you knew it was kind of fanned out. You want to kind of put your finger down and fan that layer out, ready for the next one. So that can go in well, without catching. That's going to be this one. I'm going to do the same again. I'm just going to gently go around the edge, pull them up. You can do this another way if you want, but just to make sure that when you put it in, it's it just goes in nicely. Actually, I will wait a minute for this to glue. Get a tiny bit of glue, maybe that's too much. Pop that in down there. Take the other layer, and with the dry side of the cocktail stick, you may just want to move it round and try and find a location which you think that final layer is good to go into. I'm going to go about there. I think that's good. Just gently pop it on and then push it down and then wait for it to dry. Okay, so that's pretty much dry enough for me. So you've kind of, well done, you've put your Fern together. This is kind of how it looks. Depending on how you want the Fern to be positioned or how you want it to look, it's kind of up to you. But if you want it to stand kind of like erect, more prominent, kind of a better standing, what I'm going to do is I'm going to clamp down the base and just take that last layer, that third layer, and just kind of pull them up a little bit. They might start to droop down a bit, but just bear with me. You can see maybe that Velcro effect will kind of take effect now. You'll realize that it can get caught. Pin down the Fern, and then with the back side of the tweezers, I'm just going to put it under and just kind of push it and try and do it with a better angle. I'm just going to go underneath and just push it in a bit and bring up that first layer that we did. And there we have it. We've got a lady fern. Really beautiful. Lots of detail. It's got a nice kind of drooping effect on the fronds, and it's ready to be installed. Okay, so I'm going to put it into this base here. This is all up to you, where you want to put it. I might go into a bit of theory about where to put them. I'm not right now, but if you look at some examples of nature, I might put some on the website. Just take some examples of kind of where they like to sit, because once you put them in, it will be really difficult to get out. So be sure where you put them. You can just kind of, I'm actually going to put it down here, I think. And I might just pop it in just to kind of have a little test look where I want. Actually, yeah, maybe that's good. Maybe there. Maybe I could have it at the back in here. Yeah, maybe there. If you want to get a color scheme, that's your prerogative. You know, some of you are amazing painters out there. I know some of you are. you're much better than me. You'll know what to do. But for now, all of these ones that I'm going to do at the moment, unpainted. Okay, so quite brutally, I've chosen my location, and I'm just gonna, with my tweezers, stab a hole. Stab a hole in my diorama. Other people who kind of don't use sculptor mold or softer things, you might have to find your own way of installing it. But I'm just gonna make a nice kind of deep hole in there. It's got to be wide enough, not exactly to fit the first base layer of the fern in, but just wide enough so that when you push it, it does kind of go in. So there. Okay, another really key point is when you're about to push these in, don't push them in with your tweezers because it's too sharp. That sharp edge will just puncture all three bases and it'll get stuck, like, you know, up your tweezers when you try to push it in, and it won't even go into the hole. There are these tools that I'm going to get, I don't have them, but I think would be absolutely perfect. It's almost like a ballpoint tip, mainly for like nail art. If you Google like nail art tools, buy a set of them. That will help you kind of push plants in, and they're also, I think they're good tools anyway. I don't know why I don't have them. In the meantime, I'm going to take the cocktail stick, take that off, kind of get rid of the edges with my finger because I know there's a few sharp edges there. Okay, there we go. I'm going to take my fern, gonna try and find the hole, try and get it on top, and then gonna try and find that hole and push it in. Realize I didn't actually use PVA. I don't use PVA to put these in. You can do if you want. Is on the off chance that I do really want to take it out, I can do, and once it's in there, it's actually, you know, you can see it's in there quite well, and it won't come up, it won't come off, even if you tap it upside down. So there you have it. That is how you install. That's how you make the lady fern. Okay, the next one I'm going to show you is, I've got one here that I laser cut separately, is the wood fern. And wood fern is like the next, it's like the kind of medium difficulty, much easier than the lady fern. I'll do this really quickly. Okay, what you want to do is stab your little thing connecting it, take it out, you're just going to grip it so you can see the one side of the what's it called, the blade. Bend it and then pull it down like that. So let's do that again on the other side. And grip it. I'm going to grip it like this, bend it, and then maybe pull down a little bit, and that should help it that should help each pina just kind of facing up towards the sunlight a bit, which is like the kind of realistic side of getting these to work. And you can do the top ones if you want, bada bing, but it's as simple as that. Next thing I'm going to do is just grip it just below where the start of the yeah. Just give that a little bend. 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 And there we kind of have it. You kind of want to maybe bend them down again like that. And then grip it by the base. Just pull them up. There we go. Okay, so moving on to the final assembly. We're going to take ones like Polypody, Hart's tongue, and some others, for example, in Variety 2. These are the simple ones. Dead easy, guys. Let's get to it. You have these ones here, for example. And just a quick thing before I go on to make them. I just want people to know that you don't have to assemble, maybe because these are free, it doesn't make it, it changes slightly, but you don't actually have to assemble all 4 together. You could choose to take the big one and the second smallest one and put them as a couple and then as a couple, and therefore you're increasing your surface area of coverage with the trade-off of having a less dense plant. So that is a possibility if you want to. Okay, you've got your plant. All you need to do is bend it in like that. Not difficult. Maybe try and get the tip to curve in. And once you've got it, you just want to push them up like that. Yeah, that's the same process for the Hart's tongue and for many other plants that you'll get. These are really easy. You want to grip just kind of at the actual base of the frond. You can do this 2 at a time, 3 at a time if you want. Give them a little bend. It's the same as the other one. Okay, so you've got up to this stage where it only takes you a few minutes to do one full one. All we're going to do is pop them into each other. I think this might be a hard Fern actually. Pop a little blob in. Take your second layer, and to try and get it in, you need to try and bring up the frond so they don't get caught on that first initial layer. take that in, try and stagger it. Whack that in, and then going to push down gently, not to the base, but just to widen it out a little bit so I can fit the next one in. Just do that. You don't have to do this every time. Sometimes you've already brought it up. I'm going to pop some glue on there, or in there, whichever way you want. Because it's wet, like I did it straight away, it's going to start to flay a little bit, but let's just try and do this. Here we go. Second layer, finally the third layer. Pop it on here. And then I'm just gonna try and find the right angle. Maybe whack that in there like that. Try and move it a bit to the center. Okay, there we go. And then you might want to pull that last layer up a little bit if you want them to stand more to attention. Same with this one. This one's quite an easy one. Boom. Boom. Whack that down. Get this one. Pop a drop in there. Pop a drop. Whack that in as well. No time. Really nice plant. Okay, the other ones it's worth mentioning, or worth me showing you how to do, are these two types. I haven't researched the name of these, but I have seen them and they look really, really, really nice. So let's try and show you how to bend these into existence. They are quite thin, and with your good tweezers, you want to grip more than the length of the stem, like that there. Then you can bend them down either side, even kind of pushing in and creating like a bend, and then doing it on the others. Like that, just bend them in. I'm actually putting quite a bit of pressure on that. Yeah, let's do the last one. Okay, so now that you kind of got to this stage, you wanna, maybe you can do it with your tweezers, just manipulate them a little bit, kind of to try and give you that kind of 3D effect just on that individual stem. Oh, I broke that one. And then when you have it like this, you want to take the side ones and just kind of bend them round. Same with this one here. Just bend that over. And then just maybe just bend it down a little bit. You know, it's basically however you feel is satisfied. It satisfies your kind of, your quality. You then got a plant like this. Really nice. But grip it by the intersection here, and then just pull this entire stem down like that. It just kind of depends how you want it to stand. So there you go for that one. It's the same with this one, if you could imagine. These ones probably a bit more difficult, but if you kind of grip them there, you can bend each leaf, which is, you know, you're really pushing the boundaries. If you do this, fair enough to you. Just bending these leaves. Going to this one, give that a little bend. There we go. Now that you've got a bunch of bent leaves, just kind of grip it by the base and then kind of pull those up. You maybe one at a time actually, pull it up and then bend the top, or bend that one in there and then pull it up. Same with that one there. And that's a really beautiful little plant. You know, if you paint them all, and it depends how much you want to paint it, but yeah, it's nice. Okay, so next is the wild garlic plants. This is what we're going to get to by the end of this quick little tutorial bit. They're going to look a bit like these small ones in here. I wanted to do wild garlic because they're just really good plants. They really kind of like bring, in general, the vegetation kind of together. And wild garlic is so common, and it's quite an obvious plant. I just thought I had to do them. This is a process which is a little bit different because it requires a bit of wire and some adhesive. But if you can do these and get a bunch of them out and done, you'll be really happy when you start to install them. Okay, take your wild garlic leaves, grip it so you don't kind of grip it too much at the tip, because it's just a bit faster. You can work a bit faster on each leaf without kind of reorientating it. Just bend each leaf a little bit like that, and that's all you need to do. For two, you need 2 for 1 wild garlic. Okay, so I figured, because I can't remember how I did this last time, I figured that if you take some glue and just pop it on the edge there, and then just wait for that to dry for like a few minutes, because it seems to be a little bit too wet at the moment. You want it to be a bit more stiff. This seems to be what happens when it is too stiff, when it's too runny. So I put some in. I've taken this and I've popped it in there, and you see how it doesn't like to keep on moving? That's because the PVA is kind of a bit too, what's the word, porous at the moment. So this is why we want to wait for that to dry a little bit. You want wires about kind of this long. You want to pick one up so you can grip it. This glue is kind of dried a little bit, so it's a bit more stiff. Pop that on there. I'm going to wait until it's kind of like this, and then pop it in here. Okay, so you take this, and then I've got these cutters here, but for the sake of it, let's just use these ones. You want to cut it so it only has about that much on the end. Take your tweezers and your glue, and you want to drag it so you have a nice blob on the end. Cut it about there. Do it so you've got a blob. Take your little piece, and put that in. So that's it really. The shamrock plants are pretty much the same, but you just dab in a bit of wire with a tiny blob. Make sure the adhesive or the PVA is a bit more drier than it would be out of the bottle. But that's how you put together the shamrock plants and the wild garlic. In the wild garlic, there's also these ones which are slightly smaller than the ones we did, just for a bit of variety. So there you have it, guys. Okay, that covers it for the tutorial. There's much more I could have gone into, but I realized it was getting a bit long. I hope all of you who do get the plants really enjoy them. It's an absolute passion of mine to try and get that kind of next level vegetation. I'm sure you'll all do a good job, and yeah, good luck.